Okay, a very good morning and welcome back after this time I can call it as a good weekend break, isn't it? Last time, it was a Saturday session in school also, so like the weekend was a little curtailed. But I'm sure you had a rejuvenating weekend, and that it's a recharging weekend. So I hope you got a chance to recharge your batteries. And here we go again, isn't it? So Arav says, "Ha, bilkul, bilkul." Okay, what about others? So how was your weekend? Can I get a few opinions as to how was your weekends really? How did you spend it? Deserving weekend also, I might say. Okay, good morning messages from Priyank, Hitat, Shikhar, Arav. Hitat says, is asking, आज physics start हो जाएगा? बिल्कुल. Arav says yes. Priyank says, mostly तो पढ़ाई चल रहा है. Shikhar says, आजकल IPL खूब चल रहा है. Okay. आदित्य says कि weekend तो amazing था. अभी कुछ इंटीग्रेशन ट्राई कर रहे हैं. So I hope I've given sufficient food for a lot of practice regarding your. I mean, I've given only calculus because that's what is actually mainly important. बाकी जो हमने सीखा है ना, log, binomial, a little bit of trigonometry, those things a little less important. तो इसलिए मैंने क्या किया? मैंने mainly differentiation, integration और maximum minima, थोड़ा सा area, इन्हीं के ऊपर ही देखा होगा questions दिया है, ठीक है ना? I hope you work them out, ठीक है ना? Whenever you get time. Fine. Chalo, so let's finally start the proceedings of the day. Okay. Now we'll begin with a simple topic, not exactly physics oriented. It is chemistry oriented also, physics oriented also. In fact, it's science oriented. And that is about units, dimensions, and then we will culminate by discussing on errors. Unit dimension से एक आध question generally competition से आ जाता है. Okay. Arav, good morning. यूनिट डायमेंशन से एक आध क्वेश्चन कंपटीशन में आ जाते हैं, ठीक है, वो इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. और एरर से भी एक आध क्वेश्चन आता है, इवन दैट इज आल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट. So these topics are slightly off track and also sometimes considered as a little shallow. कई बार कंसिडर किया जाता है, नहीं गलत है, क्योंकि देखो अल्टीमेटली एक क्वेश्चन होता है. अब अगर एक क्वेश्चन आता है कि इसका कलर क्या है, लेट्स से, और चार ऑप्शन दिया हुआ है, you will take hardly 4-5 seconds to get to the answer and maybe another 4-5 seconds to click the answer and go on to the next question. So maximum 8 to 10 seconds. But that question is equally important to another one, which is like a long integration, substitute this, that. But that is also going to have the same marks. So a question of 10 seconds is going to have the same weightage and marks as that of a question of probably 2 to 3 minutes or maybe even more. So therefore, sometimes we categorize some topics as being a little shallow and a little less important. Fine, it's a mental categorization, categorization. But as far as the exams are concerned, all topics are equally important because one question from that topic and it becomes extra important, isn't it? So that's how I would put it. So our topic of discussion today will be units, dimensions, and then we'll culminate the discussion with the discussion on errors. Of course, unit dimension is a relatively easy topic in the sense that there is not much into it. There are hardly few things in that which we'll quickly cover. Yes, errors, of course, has to be covered in depth. And in errors, you will soon discover that we will use binomial theorem here also. Fine. So let's start with unit dimensions. Actually, you see what happens is that in physics, as the subject started growing, more and more physics related quantities, in fact, science related quantities started getting introduced in the subject, which is obvious. For example, let's say 400 years back, we didn't have a concept called as electric field intensity. Okay. We knew that there are charge related things. It's not that we were unknown to that, but it's just that it was not formally introduced. So the topic of electrostatics was not formally introduced, let's say around 400 years back. So let's say a physics book of 400 years back would not contain terms like electric field intensity or probably electric potential or even probably resistance, isn't it? But now we know that these are quantities and therefore they will be units. So for every physical quantity there has to be unit, and sometimes multiple units also, because we have different CGS, SI, MKS and so on. Priyank has a request that is please discuss those questions. Which questions are you talking about? Integration? Well, integration take few days to solve, or rather the assignment that I've given take few days to solve, and then maybe we can take them up. Oh no, he is asking about paraboloid and all. Yeah, we'll do that. Don't worry. It's just that let's start the topic and do some justice. तो carrying on, 400 साल पहले ये topics नहीं थे, resistance वगैरह इस तरीके. So therefore, what has happened is that as the subject started growing in volume, more and more physical quantities, or you can say physics related, or you can even say science related quantities started getting introduced, and for each of them a new unit. Then a thought came to the scientists is that आरव सेज की ए वालों के टेस्ट हो रहे हैं, हमारे भी होंगे क्या? आरव, which test are you talking about?
सर उनके कुछ टाइम्ड असाइनमेंट हो रहे हैं, इसमें मार्क्स मिल जाते हैं.
हाँ नहीं वो भी होंगे. वो एक्चुअली ना गूगल में जाके हो, ठीक है ना, वो बताऊंगा मैं. वो आई थिंक शायद सिर्फ केमिस्ट्री का ही हुआ अभी, ठीक है ना. हाँ, तो now scientists started realizing that as the number of quantities are growing, so is the number of units. So it's very difficult to really keep a track of these. More and more science will develop, and more new quantities will happen, so more and more new units. So can we somehow have some kind of a control on the number of quantities that we are really dealing? Now that's where a thought of dimensions came up. So first is units. Units means what? The more number of physical quantities, the more number of units. But when it comes to dimensions, there is a limitation. What scientists thought was that, can we express so many units, which is difficult to remember also, in little less number of quantities, which can be controlled, or a little less number of fundamental quantities, and all the other units will be some kind of a power or multiple or some multiple of those fundamental units. For example, let's take volume. Now, volume is what? Length into length into length. Or you might say length into breadth into height or something like that. But essentially, the basic quantity is length only. So if I have some quantity like, let's say, length, volume can be expressed in terms of that length only. So instead of considering volume as some kind of a new quantity, I can say that volume is something that I can express in terms of length. So length becomes a fundamental quantity, and the rest will be like based on that. Right? So that's what the discussion is. Now that way, scientists then finally pin down that, okay, fine, all these quantities are there, but they can be expressed in these many number of units, or you can call them as now special term dimensions. What were those? First is of course length. So now see, when I say length, length actually means radius also. Length also means height. Length also means breadth. Length also means distance. So they are all like length only essentially. And a symbol was set as capital L. Then you have time. The symbol was set as capital T. Then you have mass. Symbol was set as capital M. So these are called as dimensions. Another thing that was decided was that to give some primacy importance to dimensions, what will be also done is that you will also include them in some kind of a square bracket. That's a convention. Okay. Temperature, that's Kelvin. K. Current, that's A. Okay. Then you have mole, that is amount of substance, that is mole. And another is based on light, optics, I mean, luminous intensity, brightness. So luminous intensity, that is C. Now that is actually what candela is based on the word candela, in short written as CD. Mole you already know, molecular mass in grams and so on. So that's like gram mole shortened as MOL. So what scientists decided was that all physics-based quantities, or for that matter, science-based quantities, will be described only in terms of this. Now that was the decision taken. Okay. So let's now look at some of the popular quantities and their expression in terms of dimensions. For example, let's say volume. So volume will be written as L cube like this. Let's take suppose density. Okay. So if I look at density, so that's like mass per unit volume. So it will be ml minus. Okay. Let's take suppose velocity. That's L t minus 1. Let's take suppose acceleration. It is meter per second square. So L t minus 2 and so on. Okay. Fine. From acceleration, we now go to force. So force is mass into acceleration. So you have ml t minus 2. Then you have momentum. That's mass into velocity. So ml t minus 1. Then you have work done, or even energy, because we know that work and energy have the same, units or dimensions, you can say. Now work is what? Force into distance. So this is force and then displacement. So you have m L square t minus 2. Okay. So these are the quantities rather. Some of the important quantities. Of course, there are more. I mean, now I will ask some of them. First of all, can anybody now tell me the dimensions of resistance? Go ahead. First of all, let's find out the dimensions of voltage. The definition of voltage is that of work done per unit charge. This is the definition. So work done is, you already got the answer for work done, ml square t minus 2. So m L square t minus 2. Now about charge. We know that current is equal to charge by time. So charge will be current into time. Now current, the dimensions is A, T is T. So like this will be A, T. Okay. So the dimensions of voltage is supposed to be found out first. And that is M L square A minus 1 and T minus 3. Fine. Now V is equal to IR. So resistance is what? V by I. So resistance will be V by I. V already found out. I is actually A. So this will become minus. So it will become M L square A. But if you had given the answer correctly only, I think Priyank has given the right answer. Okay, Priyank has given the right answer. Arnav has also, I think, given the right answer. Arnav. Sankalp has also given the right answer. That's okay. Well, Shaurya has asked, in fact, one more has asked, Rohani has asked, can we find it out from rho L by A? The answer is yes, of course. But you know what is the problem? Problem is that then you need to find out or know the dimensions of rho also. See, what we should do is that we should try to find out the answer in terms of quantities which we are familiar. So that is also something that you have to keep in mind. ठीक है ना? चलो कोई बात नहीं. Okay, Priyanka said I did it in a different way, and that is I did it by heat. Heat is I square RT. चलेगा, बिल्कुल चलेगा. See, it all depends on how you're approaching. You should be aware of the basic formulation or the formula and see which formula is better going to give you the answer. So it's up to you totally. No compulsions that you have to use this method or that method. Right? Chalo, so let's proceed now. Now let's look at some more quantities. Let's look at some more quantities for this dimension. I mean, but there are some quantities which are also going to be learned in class 12. Unfortunately, कई बार उनका भी जरूरत पड़ जाता है, ठीक है ना? So therefore उसको भी हम लोग 2-4 क्वांटिटी सीख लेते हैं. जैसे एक मैं बताने वाला हूं, that is capacitance. Capacitance होता है चार्ज बाय वोल्टेज. अब देखो वोल्टेज तुम्हारे सामने है, चार्ज भी सामने ही है, IT मींस AT. तो देखो कैपेसिटेंस का क्या होगा? C हो जाएगा चार्ज, दैट इज AT, बाय वोल्टेज which is ml square A minus 1 T minus. ठीक है, तो ये कितना हो जाएगा फिर? M minus 1 L minus 2 A2 T4, right? M minus 1 L minus 2 A2 T4. तो ये 2-4 जो है याद ही रखो तो ज्यादा अच्छा है. मैं फिर भी एक लिस्ट बना देता हूँ. एक तो वोल्टेज का आ गया, है ना, ये वाला M L square A minus 1 T minus, और कैपेसिटेंस का आ गया M minus 1 L minus 2 A2 T4. ये छोटे छोटे चीजें मतलब कई बार ध्यान रखना पड़ता है. रेजिस्टेंस का भी आ गया है ना, लाइक रेजिस्टेंस is M L square A minus 2 T minus 3. So these are some of the related electrical related quantities. ठीक है, and we can actually find out for many more. जैसे मैं अभी एक दो और बताने वाला हूँ. Some of them from class 11th and some of them from class 12th, and that is or rather before that let me ask a question, is that are you aware of this term specific heat capacity?
Yes.
I'm just giving this term. I mean, if you're aware, I'm just giving half a minute to solve. Find out the dimensions of specific heat capacity. Go ahead. The symbol, by the way, is C. I'm just giving you, half a minute, maybe not even half a minute, few seconds. After that, I will intervene because all of you may not have studied this form. I know that. No issues.
Sir, it is
Arnav is given m to the power minus 1 into A. A कहाँ से आ गया? A तो current वाला है. I think you want to say probably K. Is that so? Have a look again. एक काम करता हूँ मैं ना formula दे देता हूँ so that everybody can work out quickly. Now I'm getting a rush of answers. Ruhani, L to the power 2, T to the power minus 2, K to the power minus 1. Okay, Shaurya, L to the power 2, T to the power minus 3. Okay, Arav is like L inverse square A square. A कहाँ से आ रहा है? अनुभव k to the power -1, L to the power 2, t to the power -3. चलो let's see. First of all, हमारे पास जो फॉर्मूला है उसको देखना पड़ेगा. That is delta Q is equal to mc delta T. That is the formula. Where delta Q is the heat. So that's the heat energy. This is of course the mass. This is the temperature change. So whether it is temperature or temperature change, यूनिट तो वही होगा, डायमेंशंस तो वही होगा, है ना. चलो, और ये हो गया जो है तुम्हारा स्पेसिफिक हीट कैपेसिटी. ठीक है. चलो, तो लाइक हीट वी हैव जस्ट स्टडीड अ फ्यू मिनट्स बैक कि ये हो जाएगा m L square T minus is equal to m. I don't know the dimensions of C, but I know that the temperature dimension is Kelvin. That's the thing. So equating now, you can see mm gets cancelled. So you have C dimensions as equal to L to the power 2, T to the power -2, K to the power -2. So like specific capacity is L square, T to the power -2 and K to the power -1. Simple, isn't it? चलो ठीक है. So that was about your specific heat capacity. इसके अलावा मैंने वोल्टेज, रेजिस्टेंस वगैरह सब तो दिया ही है. ठीक है. Let's look at some of the uses of dimensions. Now, why are dimensions used? Of course, one thing about dimensions is that it has reduced the number of variables that are involved in expressing any quantity of physics. Otherwise, for every quantity, there used to be a new unit. For example, even these also, the unit is volt, capacitance is farad, resistance is ohm. So, 3 new quantities, 3 new units. Whereas, if you look at the way I have expressed now, they are only in terms of this M, L, A, K, etc. So that makes the thing little simplified. That's the only reason why dimensions were introduced. Right? Okay, so now we are going to talk about uses of dimensions. One of the uses of dimension, is to have a preliminary assessment of how different type of quantities relate to each other. Right? And that is to find relationship between physical quantities. Okay, to find out the relationship between physical quantities. For example, let us say, so the topic is now time period of pendulum. Now, time period of a pendulum, we can possibly relate and try to assess what are the quantities that could possibly influence the time period of a pendulum. Let's look at. So the time period probably will be should depend on the mass or the bob, pendulum mass. It would depend on the length, and of course, it would depend on acceleration due to gravity. Because after all, a pendulum is oscillating because of gravity force. Had there been no gravity, if you take a pendulum, just to take it to the side and leave it, it will stay there. Had there been no gravity. But it is gravity, which is why when you take the pendulum to one side and leave it, it starts coming back and then moves to the other side and then starts oscillating. So it is purely a gravitation-driven phenomenon. So it should be definitely depending on gravity, should depend on the mass, and should depend on the length. Now you might say that we know the formula. I agree. You already know the formula. And I'm not saying that you don't know the formula. It is just that let's approach it dimension. Okay. So the principle that we're going to use here is that LHS and RHS must have same dimensions. This is what is called as dimensional consistency. It is called as dimensional consistency. Okay? That means it cannot be that on the left hand side you have L to the power 2 as a part of the dimensions, and on the right hand side you have L to the power 3 as a part of the dimensions. Not possible. So whatever power of M, L, T, A, K, whatever will be there on the left hand side, the quantities on the right hand side should also have the same exact dimensions with the same powers. Okay, that's the idea of what is called as dimensional consistency, right? So like we know that T is directly proportional to all these quantities. So let's call it as M to the power X, L to the power Y, and G to the power Z. Now let's put the dimensions. So if this is dimension T, so that means it is M to the power 0, L to the power 0, T to the power 1. Only time is there, so everything. Now that will be M to the power X, L to the power Y, and G is actually LT minus 2 to the power Z. So which means M to the power X, L to the power, this is Y and this is Z, so L to the power Y plus Z, and T to the power minus 2Z. Okay. Now see, the things have to be same on both sides. So if M is 0 here M is X. That means as per dimensional consistency, X should be 0. Y plus Z should also be 0. And minus 2Z should be equal to 1. So solving, Z is equal to minus R. And if Z is minus R, then Y has to be half. So if I apply all these things, what do you get? T is proportional to M to the power X, which is 0. So it's gone. L to the power Y, which is half. So under root of L upon G. So therefore, T is some kind of a constant K into under root of L by G. Now this is what dimensions will take you to. Okay. However, there is a catch. Catch number one. Catch number one is that. Catch number one is that condition. And that is the constant K is dimensionless. Okay. So the constant is not having dimensions, which is called as dimensionless. So you might say, what if it has dimensions? Well, the answer is that if it has dimensions, then we cannot find out the formula or the relationship. Okay. Now, one way to find out the formula in that case would be if the question is giving us that this constant in this particular case has dimensions of so and so. Then possibly I can find out the relationship. Otherwise, no. So therefore, the first thing that I would like to point out here is that there are limitations. So I will point out to the limitation of this method. Number one, if constant has dimensions, we cannot find the out the relation between the two quantities. That's the first constraint.
सर
हाँ बेटा,
सर पीवी इज इक्वल टू एनआरटी में भी तो आर के डायमेंशंस होते हैं.
हाँ बिल्कुल होता ही है.
तो फिर कैसे?
नहीं समझे नहीं. देखो, what I'm saying is that जहां जहां तुमको constant dimension वाला मिलेंगे, वहां पे तुम क्वेश्चन सॉल्व नहीं कर. मतलब रिलेशनशिप फाइंड आउट नहीं कर, कैसे कर पाओगे? हाँ, अगर कांस्टेंट का डायमेंशन दे दिया तो फाइंड आउट कर लेंगे, अदरवाइज नहीं हो। सो दैट्स अ लिमिटेशन, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग इट्स अ लिमिटेशन, यानी ये इस मेथड का एक कमी है, ठीक है ना? नॉट ओनली दैट, वी कैन नॉट फाइंड आउट द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ इवन डायमेंशनलेस कांस्टेंट ऑल्सो। चलो, मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ कांस्टेंट विद दिस मेथड। सो यू माइट से दैट वो जो टाइम पीरियड में हमने t is equal to k into under L by g लिखते हैं, वो k कहां से आए, है ना? So the answer is that the k value or the constant is found out in two ways, either mathematically, if there is some kind of a method, I mean, or experiment, one of the two. So by the way, ये जो पेंडुलम है, पेंडुलम में ये जो कांस्टेंट है ना, it has been found out mathematically. So finally I will write the relationship as t is equal to, जो कांस्टेंट लिखा था ना, I will write it as t is equal to 2 pi under root of L by G. So time period t is equal to 2 pi under root of L upon G. ठीक है, देखो अच्छे से. So that's the constraint, or you can say that's the relationship. अब एक काम करो, एक मैं और दे रहा हूं. Suppose I say, now this is something, there's a class work for you right now. Suppose I say this is capacitance and this is voltage. That's why I've deliberately not rubbed it off. I've just kept them activated. The energy stored in a capacitor, the energy in capacitor depends on the capacitance and voltage. And energy is given the symbol U in this case. So find the relation. Go ahead. Start. इस केस में हो सकता है तुम बोलोगे कि आपने तो हमें बता दिया कि पेंडुलम वाले में मैथमेटिकली फाइंड आउट किया जाता है कांस्टेंट एज 2 पाई. हाउ विल वी नो? So the answer to that question is that you will not know mostly unless you already know by experience, isn't it? For example, this one, this formula, you most probably would also know by experience. So you can say that, okay, this is the constant. But in many cases, you will not know from experience what is the formula. So in such a case, you will have to leave it as t is equal to k into under of L by G. If you don't know the constant somehow. And there is nothing wrong in that. If it is a new quantity, something that we have not studied as yet, how will I know all the constants? Not possible. So we'll just leave it as t is equal to k, some constant, into under of L by G, and that's a valid answer. No issue. Chalo, let me start now. It's not a very tough task really. That energy we already know. So energy is m L square T minus 2. Now that should be related to capacitance. Now that's capacitance. M minus 1, L minus 2, K2 T4 to the power x into voltage. that is m L square a minus 1 b minus 3 to the power y. So if I collect all the terms, it will become m to the power x plus y, L to the power minus 2x plus 2y, a to the power 2x minus y, and t to the power 4x minus 3y. And they have to be consistent. So like I can equate these, x plus y is equal to 1, isn't it? So x plus y is equal to 1. And maybe you can relate this, minus 2x plus 2y is equal to 2. So that's like minus 2x plus 2y is equal to 2. So this will simplify to minus x plus y is equal to 1. So what I do is that I equate the two, rather add that two. So this plus this, I add the two. So x gets cancelled, 2y is equal to 2. And therefore,
That first equation of minus x plus y.
minus x plus y. Okay. फिर तो ये सेकंड वाला तो ये लेना बेकार है ना? तो हम ले नहीं पाएंगे. तो हम इसको ले लेते. a तो है ही नहीं यहाँ पे, यानी 2x minus y must be equal to 0, है ना? तो फर्स्ट इक्वेशन में गड़बड़ था, ठीक है? So 2x minus y is equal to 0, so y is equal to 2x. From this is what I'm getting. So now if I put it here, y is equal to 2x. So minus x plus 2x is equal to 1. So from this I get x equal to 1 and y is equal to 2. So the relationship is, so finally the relationship is U, that is energy, is equal to some constant C into V square. Some constant K into CV square. Now the problem is, what is the value of K? Now this K will be found out mathematically in your class 12 syllabus. And therefore, finally, it will turn out to be U is equal to R C V square.
सर ये वाला समझ नहीं आया.
क्या चीज है हाफ वाला?
नहीं सर, ये दो ये इक्वेशंस.
इक्वेशन मैंने बोला ना, इक्वेशन मैंने बोला ना कि एनर्जी इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द कैपेसिटेंस एंड वोल्टेज. देखा, एनर्जी डिपेंड्स ऑन कैपेसिटेंस एंड वोल्टेज. तो कैपेसिटेंस टू द पावर x, देखो कैपेसिटेंस वाला कॉपी किया है, कैपेसिटेंस वाला कॉपी किया टू द पावर x, और वोल्टेज वाला v ये वाला उसको कॉपी किया टू द पावर y. तो फिर मैंने क्या किया, m वाले अलग कर लिया, l वाले अलग कर लिया, t वाले अलग कर लिया, a वाले अलग. ये देखो m टू द पावर माइनस x प्लस y, फिर l टू द पावर माइनस 2x प्लस 2y, ये देखो a to the power 2x minus y, a to the power 4x minus 3y. इस तरह से इक्वेट कर लिया. और उसके बाद मैं देख रहा हूँ कि एनर्जी का तो m l squared t minus 2 है. या तो m को इक्वेट करो, या तो l को इक्वेट करो, या तो t को इक्वेट करो, कुछ भी इक्वेट कर लो. तो देखो इसके अंदर a है नहीं और इसके अंदर a है 2x minus y, फिर उसको जीरो करना पड़ेगा, है ना? So 2x minus y has to be 0, so y will be equal to what? 2x. That's how things are. And the other is that minus x plus y is equal to 1, है ना? तो ये दोनों को रिलेशन यूज कर लिया तो x का वैल्यू 1 आ गया, y is equal to 2 आ गया. यानी कैपेसिटेंस टू द पावर 1, वोल्टेज टू द पावर 2. That's what the question is saying. इसलिए CV स्क्वायर तो लिख दे, साथ में k. अब ये k तो देखो 11th के सिलेबस का तो है नहीं, ये 12th के सिलेबस का है, तो k तो as such तुमको नहीं पता रहेगा. But if you know by experience, by because you maybe studied this topic a little bit earlier itself, so then it's good. You can write half CV square. बट अगर मान लो तुमको नहीं भी मालूम है तो इनिशियल एग्जाम्स के लिए इवन k विल डू, यानी u is equal to k CV square, ये भी चले, because the relationship that we are trying to find out is between u, c and v. तो वो वाला पार्ट तो हो गया ना. कांस्टेंट k may be known, may be unknown, तो उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. अब जैसे टाइम पीरियड ऑफ पेंडुलम में कांस्टेंट क्या आ गया, 2 pi. Now you cannot fathom 2 pi out of the blue, I mean, isn't it? So what you have to do? You have to find out either mathematically or experimentally. So till now, the 2 examples that I have given, it's all experiment. But I will go back to the same thing, and that is, there is limitation here also. If this constant k would have had dimensions, तो ये relation हम find out नहीं कर पाएंगे. Number 1. Number 2 is that k का value भी हम नहीं find out कर पाएंगे. Without either experience or mathematical knowledge or some experimental idea, we cannot find out. तो ये limitation अभी भी है. Limitation को मैं मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ. लिमिटेशन जो मैंने लिखा था दे स्टिल स्टैंड. फाइन. चलो, so that was about some of the relationship between various quantities finding हमें. You can take some more examples. कोई भी बुक में पढ़ लो. I've just given you the idea, basic idea. ये था पहला utility. I said that the topic is uses of dimension. Dimension use क्या? Second is to find out relationship between different unit systems. जैसे मैं एक सिंपल सा पूछता हूं, ठीक है, और वो है सपोज डेंसिटी, या कोई सा भी ले लो, या मान लो ले लो फोर्स का ले लो. हमें फोर्स का पता है कि ऐसा यूनिट है न्यूटन और सीजीएस यूनिट है डाइन. वी नो दैट. अब सपोज मैं तुमको कहता हूं कि मुझे ना न्यूटन से डाइन की तरफ जाना, तो मुझे क्या मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा? सो दैट मल्टीप्लाइंग नंबर is called as conversion factor. So this is also called as conversion factor. Now conversion factor could be to convert Newton to dynes. It could also be to convert dynes to newtons. It could be either way. So how do we really find out this conversion factor? Now to find out the conversion factor, just know this one is that right dimensionally. So let's say if I have to convert from Newton to dyne, what should I multiply? So 1 Newton is equal to इतना dynes. तो वो conversion factor क्या होना चाहिए? Let's call that as F. तो F क्या होगा? The old system upon new system. ये conversion factor. ठीक है? तो जैसे अभी मैं किस चीज का कन्वर्जन फैक्टर निकालना चाहता हूं? मैं कन्वर्जन फैक्टर निकालना चाहता हूं न्यूटन से डाइन्स. तो ओल्ड सिस्टम में न्यूटन हो गया, यानी एम एल टी माइनस टू ओल्ड, दैट इज एस आई अपॉन एम एल टी माइनस टू सीजीएस. So this will become M SI MCGS into L SI LCGS into e to the power minus 2 SI. This is the relationship. हाँ, मुझे मालूम है कि relationship कईयों को already मालूम है. जैसे रूहानी has already given the answer as 10 to the power 5. Yeah, I know. This conversion factor is something that you already know. But you know what? This is something that you know, so you are comfortable. But there will be quite a few ones in which you will not be as comfortable because you may not be remembering them as such. So there you have to find out the conversion factor by using this method. So I'm doing it actually. So now MSI is kg. This is gram. So kg by gram is what? 1000 gram by 1 gram. This is 1000. This is equal to 1000. Into, now LSI is meter. LCGS is centimeter. So meter by centimeter is what? A meter is 100 centimeters. This is centimeters, so 100. TSI is second. TCGS is also second. That's into 1. That is equal to 10 to the power 5. That means, finally we are going to write 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5. It is as simple as that. So 1 Newton will be equal to 10 to the power 5. Okay? Just have a look. And similarly, now you can find out for other quantities. For example, if you look at instead of force, suppose work done. Now, work done in SI units is joule, and here it is erg. So here it is joule, here it is erg. So as I said, old system by new system, and for work done, it is ml square, ml square. So not much change really. Only thing is that this will become L square and this will become L square. So this will become 100 square. So rest is the same. We look at carefully, rest is the same. 1000 into 100 square, that is equal to 10 to the power 7. So now I will write 1 joule is equal to 10 to the power 7 earth. Have a look. Well, Adyash has already given the answer as 10 to the power 7. You're right. So I've just derived it. Because see, these are two quantities which you already know. I'm not denying that. It's just that we have done it formally by using dimensions. That is the only thing. Okay. Now I will take a pause and, or rather, let's look at one more utility. I'm looking at one more utility now, and that is to verify formula. These are, none of them are very concrete, but yes, to an extent we can use them. Now, verify formula. Suppose I say that S is equal to UT square plus 380. Now you might say, what kind of formula is this? This is wrong. I also know it is wrong. But suppose I ask you that maybe it's right. Who knows? Isn't it? So in such a case, we are going to test for dimensional consistency. Now this is based on what is called as principle of homogeneity. In dimensions, this is a principle called as principle of homogeneity. Now what do you mean by that? Principle of homogeneity says that in an equation, there are two things that must happen. Number one, dimensions of LHS must match with the dimensions of RHS. So that's the first thing. Okay. That's the first thing, and that is dimensions of LHS must be matching with the dimensions of the RHS. Second is that if there are quantities in addition or subtraction, then their dimensions must be the same. Okay. Now that is for only addition and subtraction, not for multiplication, division, powers or something like that. Okay. So that's the case. Okay. So if there are quantities in addition or subtraction, then their dimensions must be the same. Now that is what is called as principle of homogeneity. Now let's apply this principle of homogeneity to this equation. First of all, let's apply the second criteria. That is, if there are quantities in addition or subtraction. Now these are addition and subtraction based quantities. Let's look at. Now UT square. So if you look at the dimensions of UT square, it will be L T minus 1 into T to the power 2. U means velocity. So LT minus 1 and T square is T square. So it becomes LT. Now what about AT? Okay. AT will be L T minus 2 into T. So that will be equal to L T minus 1. So this equation has failed on the second count. And that is BM. In the second count. And that is, if there are quantities in addition, they must have the same dimensions. You see there are different dimensions. This LT and this is LT minus 1. You will look at. So it cannot be corrected. So this equation has to be wrong. Okay. However, there is a catch. And I'm sure you must have already thought it already. And that is, suppose I redraft this equation as, so I can rub this off. Suppose I redraft this equation as S is equal to 2 ut plus 1 by 4 at square. Now it's an interesting situation. Okay. So it is S is equal to 2 ut plus 1 upon 4 at square. Now if you look at ut, dimensions of it, LT minus 1 into T. And if you look at half it, 1 by 4 at square, it is LT minus 2 into T square. So the dimensions of this is L and this is also L. So that way, if you look at, it is consistent on the right hand side. Dimensionally. Hold on. It is dimensionally okay. Right hand side. Now let's go to left hand side. Now that is also L. So therefore, this equation, interestingly, is satisfying both the criteria. One is that if there are quantities in addition, subtraction, they must be having the same dimensions. That is also okay. And the other is that that overall dimension must be equal to that of the left hand side, and therefore that should also be equal to the right hand side. And that is also holding true. Because see, the right hand side dimension is LL and the left hand is L. So that way, if I look at this equation, so therefore, this equation is dimensionally consistent. But I know you will say, but this equation is not correct. We know the equation. It is S equal to ut plus half at square, and you have written something which is totally wrong. I agree. The only point is that, is it dimensionally wrong? No, it is dimensionally fine. So that actually gives us another conclusion, and that is, just because a question is dimensionally okay does not make it okay. Got it? So an equation other than being dimensionally okay must also be logically and physically okay. So that's a different point. But yes, dimensionally, this equation is perfect. So therefore, now we reach a conclusion that an equation dimensionally consistent may not be consistent. Means just because the equation is dimensionally consistent does not mean that the equation is to be consistent or okay. However, if you look at the other way around, and that is, if the equation is dimensionally not consistent, then it has to be definitely wrong. Isn't it? So, an equation dimensionally inconsistent is surely wrong. So here I'm saying may be consistent. Chalo, may not be, maybe ek hi baat. It may be consistent. Okay. But if it is dimensionally inconsistent, it is surely wrong. That's all. So therefore, when I give this heading of verification of formula, what kind of verification are we doing? We are only doing a dimensional verification. And let's say by any chance that equation is something which is unknown to you, just because it turned out to be dimensionally correct, you cannot claim that the equation is correct because it may be correct. It may be correct. As I said, this equation is perfectly, no, sorry, not this one, this one. This one is dimensionally fine, but the equation is wrong. Because we know the correct equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to ut plus half at square. So we know it. That is the problem. So this entire experience we have now finally summarized with 2 sentences. An equation dimensionally consistent may be consistent. Maybe. I'm not denying it, but then I'm not accepting it. I have to go into details. Check, verify. But an equation which is dimensionally inconsistent It has to be wrong. There's no way it can be corrected. For example, this one. Isn't it? So even if I write this as, let's say, ut square plus half at. So look-wise, it is almost similar. That our actual equation is ut plus half at square, and here it is slightly different. So that way, look-wise equation is pretty similar to our actual correct equation. But still, this is wrong. Why? Because it is dimensionally not correct. So therefore, there is a difference between dimensional consistency and actual consistency. So I hope this entire discussion has brought that. So if I ask you, can we verify formula by using dimensions? The answer is we can do a dimensional check, but that is not assured. That is not guaranteed that the equation is correct. But yes, if on dimensional checking it turns out to be wrong, then the equation has to be surely wrong. That's the final statement. Okay. So therefore, you must have observed one thing is that there is limitation everywhere. So dimensions is not a very perfect science. There are limitations. And limitations we earlier also discussed. And here also we are discussing. Isn't it? So I hope you have got the point across. With this, I will ask you a question. And that is, suppose I say that the displacement of a particle is given by a t by bs plus c by dq. So question is, it's an easy question. Find the dimensions of A, B, and C. S is of course displacement, and T is the time. It's a simple question. I mean, nothing very complicated. You can go ahead and find the answer. And that is, I'm getting a lot of answers. Aditya, Atya, Aditya Sharma, Anubhav Das. Everybody is giving answers. Sir. Good thing. David gave an answer earlier. Priyank, Anubhav, Pratham, Arnav, Shaurya. Everybody is giving answers. Shikhar. Chalo, that's a good thing. Rohani says, "Ki I got disconnected. Can you repeat the question?" So the question is here itself. Find the dimensions of ABC. S being displacement and T being time. So there's something interesting out here. You have to observe it carefully. And that is, whatever answers of A and B and C you might give, think over it. Whatever answers of A and B and C you give, whatever answers, you're giving so many answers. Can't I do one thing? Can't I do one thing? I can multiply A, B, and C with some dimensions of, let's say, L, and it will still be okay. Why? Because let us say A and B has certain dimensions, and I multiply this also by L, this also by L, this also by L. So you have numerator multiplied by L, and in the denominator B and C both has been multiplied by L. So I can take out that L common here, and there's L extra here, so that L and L will get cancelled. And why multiply by L itself? Why not by T? Or for that matter, T square. So let's see if I multiply A by T square, B by T square, and C by T square. So still they will match. And that is why in this particular question, you will have infinite number of answers. Many different combinations can possibly give you. Let's start with B being dimensionless. So let's start with B being dimensionless. If B is dimensionless, then this is S. Okay. So this also has to be S because they are addition. So that means C has to be L into T cube. Why? Because S is L. So if C is L into T cube, so that T cube will get cancelled. So it will become L. So this is also L, this is also L. In that case,
LT inverse होगा ना displacement.
हाँ
LT inverse होगा ना displacement.
रुको रुको अभी कंप्लीट करने दो. मैं कह रहा हूँ let us say B is dimensionless. मानने में क्या जाता है? अगर B dimensionless हुआ तो S का तो L हुआ, तो C by T cube को भी L होना पड़ेगा. अब C by T cube L कैसे होगा ना? C अगर L T cube हुआ तो वो T cube कैंसिल होकर SCL बन जाए. यानी C has to be L T cube. अच्छा डिनोमिनेटर क्या हो गया? L हो गया, है ना? तो ये A into T by L. तो A का क्या करना पड़ेगा ना? A has to be L square e to the minus 1. उससे क्या होगा ना? A हो गया L square और ये पूरा L है, तो L square और L कैंसिल होके एक L रह गया और into T है तो into T करोगे तो T to the minus 1 और T कैंसिल होगा. यानी C हो जाएगा L square T सॉरी C तो आ चुका है, A हो गया L square T minus 1. बड़ा पे रुको, यही पे कैच है. क्यों? क्योंकि अब अगर तुम चाहो तो B को मल्टीप्लाई कर दो T से, इसको T क्यूब के जगह T to the power 4 कर लो, ये T to the minus 1 के जगह T to the power 0 कर लो, वो भी तो चलेगा. So therefore in this particular question there are infinite number of answers. Yes, we'll start off with this. B is dimensionless, C is L T to the power 3 and A is L square T minus 1. ये इसका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट है. अब तुम तीनों को कोई से भी डायमेंशन मल्टीप्लाई कर दो तो चले. तुम तीनों को L से मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, तीनों को T से मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, तीनों को L स्क्वायर से मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, तीनों को L क्यूब से मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, तीनों को L क्यूब T स्क्वायर से मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, कुछ भी कर सकते, कुछ भी कर सकते. That is the answer. So therefore in this particular question there is no unique answer. There are infinite number of answers. But yes, those answers will be in a pattern. What is that? That this will be there and then on these you can multiply anything. T square, T square, T square, T cube, T cube, T cube, L square, L square, L square, L cube, L cube, L cube, L, anything that you want. L square, T cube, L square, T cube, L square, T cube. You can multiply any dimensions for it. That is the final answer.
Sir,
Well, I don't know whether it has convinced you fully or not. Just think on it. In case there is a problem on thinking, I mean, then maybe we can take up one or two more questions in the next class, that is tomorrow. I mean, of course, tomorrow we will be winding up dimensions. The dimensions का भी थोड़ा सा रहता है. That we will do tomorrow and then wind it up. Fine. But ये जो मैंने आज concept समझाया है, कि इसमें infinite number of answers possible है, ये एक बार अच्छे से दिमाग में.
सर
हाँ बेटे.
सर मल्टीप्लाई जैसे आप बता रहे हो, अगर हम डिवाइड भी कर सकते हैं L से तीनों को.
डिवाइड भी कर सकते हो. मैंने क्या बोला कि कुछ भी डायमेंशन से मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हो. मल्टीप्लिकेशन के अंदर डिवीजन छुपा रहता है. तुम एक काम करो, सबको L से डिवाइड कर लो, L स्क्वायर से डिवाइड कर लो, T स्क्वायर से डिवाइड कर लो, चलेगा. यानी when I'm saying divide by T square, यानी you are multiplying by T to the minus 2, T to the minus 2, T to the minus 2. वो भी चलेगा. क्यों नहीं चलेगा? बिल्कुल चलेगा.
सर इसमें A और C भी डायमेंशनलेस हो सकता है.
We have started with B dimensionless. ऐसे किसी को भी dimensionless लेके उसको बाद एनालाइज करो.
ओके सर.
ठीक है ना. तो फिर उसके लेकिन फिर बाद में देखना वो पैटर्न में पड़ जाए. फिर उसके साथ भी कुछ भी मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड कर सकते. ठीक है ना. You can even start with A as dimensionless and then go ahead with the question. You can do anything. So that's what I'm saying, that there is no consistent answer to this. There could be infinite number of answers. So that was the interesting point. So anyway, we have stressed much beyond what our scheduled time was. Doesn't matter. Good discussion. We'll carry it on tomorrow. Right. Chalo. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.